Welcome to Booked for Two, the podcast where a married couple dives into epic stories, wild worlds, and sometimes questionable romances.
Basically, I'm here for the epic fantasies, dragons, battles, and way too much lore. Think Lord of the Rings meets a Wikipedia rabbit hole.
And I'm here for the emotional chaos. Think smuttier fantasies, heartbreaks, and the moments that make you gasp or throw your book.
She's the heart and soul. I'm the deep dive into every detail you didn't know you needed. Together, we'll tackle characters, plots, and themes one chapter at a time.
So whether you're team lore or team feels, grab your book, get comfy, and let's turn the page together.
I can't believe we're here. The end of our first book on this podcast. It's bittersweet, like finishing the last episode of a show you've been binge watching. You stare into the abyss, and now you don't know what to do with your life.
Are you okay? That got really dark really quickly. But yes, we've been through so much with this book. Let's see, we had cryptic ghost queens, a surprisingly easy tournament of champions, and a love triangle that had everyone questioning their feelings, including the characters themselves.
And let's not forget the real highlights, like Kale Chip finally admitting he has emotions, even if he doesn't know what to do with them.
Aww. And hey, it's Rumpier, the best unexpected villain energy we could have asked for.
And the biggest mystery of them all, did the stag actually appear in the tapestry, or is it just a literary version of one of those blue dress, gold dress debates?
Oh, nice. We may never know. But what we do know is that our Portal game show with Obsidian and Garnet was peak entertainment. Celaena choosing her fate like a contestant on a chaotic fantasy version of Let's Make a Deal was iconic.
And now here we are at the end of Throne of Glass, but definitely not the end of this adventure. We can't wait for what's next.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's jump into our recap of chapters 40 through 47. Things are about to get wild.
So, last week's chapters were intense. Celaena's life just went from complicated to holy shit, is she going to survive this?
Yeah, it kicked off the day after the Yulmus party. But let's be real, Yulmus cheer didn't last long. Celaena's dealing with dark magic, darker secrets, and oh right, an ancient monster lurking in the tombs, the Ritterak. Honestly, what's more terrifying than a creature summoned straight out of your nightmares? And Celaena faces it alone. It's giving big Buffy Summers versus Hellmouth demon vibes.
And then there's Kane. Let's just call him what he is, a smug, power-hungry, Magic Jack psychopath. Between his speed and dark Lord of the Universe energy, he's officially earned his spot as the guy we're all hoping gets taken down hard.
Oh, absolutely. The tension in the tomb scene was next level. Celaena barely survives the Ritterak, and you can practically feel the walls closing in. And yet, she still walks out of there like a badass.
Meanwhile, Dorian's stuck in a whirlwind of mixed signals. Kale's brooding in his emotional soup, and Nehemia's over here side-eyeing everyone like, figure your lives out, I've got a kingdom to save. These chapters were the perfect mix of action, mystery, and emotional chaos. And now Celaena's gearing up to face Grave, and you already know it's about to go down.
Well, shall we jump into the final chapters of Throne of Glass? Chapters 48 through 55 are going to close out this book in style.
As always, we must do our shameless plug, because without it, we will not be able to reach other wonderful people in our book lovers community. So please be sure to subscribe, follow, and review our show on your favorite podcast listening platform. Your support means everything to us.
Please make sure you're following us on social media for behind-the-scenes content, sneak peeks, and updates. Plus, every Sunday, we'll post the chapters we're covering in the next episode so you can read along with us.
We want you to get to know us, so join us every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Central for a live Q&A on our YouTube and TikTok profiles. Whether you're burning to know more about the podcast, the chapters, or even something random like, do I wear pants when I read?
We're thrilled to share numerous things with you. And also that stickers and bookmarks are now available. Whether you want to deck out your water bottle, Kindle, laptop, or keep your place in your favorite book in style, we've got you covered. You can get them at bookedfor2.com or the link in our socials.
And don't forget, we'll be posting cryptic messages from our assassin personas, the Keepers of Whispers themselves, Obsidian and Garnet, on our socials. Solve the puzzle and you'll have a chance to win autographed stickers and bookmarks from both of us.
We will be posting the cryptic messages every Friday, so be sure to follow us and check regularly. We can't wait to see who rises to the challenge.
Are you ready for a special surprise? We're also dropping a bonus episode this coming Monday where we'll review the book, talk about our favorite moments, and slap on our tinfoil hats to theorize what's coming next. You definitely don't want to miss it.
Speaking of what's next, make sure you have your copy of Crown of Midnight. That's book 2 of the Throne of Glass series ready to go. We're diving right in next Thursday. No breaks, no mercy. So get prepared because we're keeping this adventure rolling. And now, let's turn the page.
Starting off, chapter 48.
The Edge of Oblivion.
Hey, remember that cliffhanger from last week?
The rude one? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the one where Celaena and Grave were about to throw down. Well, in case you were wondering, we really didn't miss a thing. Because Celaena absolutely wrecked Grave's sorry ass. What was that, Chaol? 2 minutes? She beat Kane's time by a whole minute? And because it's Celaena, she did it with way more flair.
I mean, come on. She dropped a handkerchief on Grave and was like, you can keep that. That's an absolute boss move right there. The king raises a toast to the final two, Kane and Celaena. Celaena, sneaky as ever, hands each of them a goblet, and we know exactly what she did to Celaena's. As soon as they finish drinking, the king commands the champions to prepare to begin. Not a second to rest. Kane draws his sword, and he's already poised for battle.
So we saw this come, and I think you said that the king was not going to let them rest.
Yeah, because Celaena mentioned it. Like, I'm going second. Am I going to get a break?
Nope.
Chaol, clearly realizing Celaena's been sabotaged, tries to steady her as she steps into the ring, but Celaena's world is literally falling apart. Her vision's getting foggy, her stomach's getting nauseous, and she can barely stand. And the king shouts,
"Begin!" Kane charges, and Celaena barely manages to block with her staff. Her body is betraying her, the poison tightening its grip with every agonizing second. Defense won't save her now. She knows that. So she pivots, shifting to offense, pouring every ounce of her strength into each strike. But Kane's sword is relentless, chipping away at her staff with every crushing blow. And Kane, he's loving this. Not feeling well? Maybe you shouldn't have held back all those. BAM! She shuts his ass up with a solid hit to the side, her staff cracking against him like Thor's hammer. But Kane didn't budge. He just smirks like the indestructible supervillain he thinks he is. Stumbling back for some breathing room, Celaena's head spins as Celaena's Wicked Witch of the West cackling rings in her ears, mocking her. Bloodbane. She has been poisoned.
Ooh, that's the one she was unsure of. Kane, he's now an unstoppable force. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, and he just keeps pressing the attack. She blocks as best as she can, but the poison is too much. He's playing with her now, landing hit after brutal hit. Celaena makes one final attempt, swinging the staff with all of her might. Snap! It shatters against Kane's sword. He strikes her again, dislocating her shoulder, and leaving her bleeding. Gritting her teeth, she escapes his grip and raises a piece of the broken staff. But Kane just smiles, like the predator that he is.
Dorian watches from the sidelines, his heart sinking like a ship taking on water. Something's wrong. Celaena isn't herself out there, and it's torture to see her this way. Every fiber of his being screams at him to step in to end this, but fear keeps him frozen. What would the king do if he defied him? The risk is too great.
Pussy. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd say so. Then Kane strikes again. A brutal, bone-rattling hit, and Celaena crumbles to the ground like a puppet with its strings cut.
As Celaena lies broken on the floor, Kane leans down, sneering.
I expected better. What would your father say?
His words hit like daggers. He knows things. Intimate, painful things. Arabin, her parents, waking up covered in their blood. How? How does he know these things? And Chaol stands helpless as Kane strikes again, sending Celaena rolling across the ring until she slams into the black clock tower. But even as she lies there, battered and bleeding, she refuses to let go of the broken staff.
Kane drags Celaena across the floor like a rag doll. This isn't a fight, it's an execution. Whispers and otherworldly voices fill her mind. Then bam, he slams her face into the black tower. A familiar darkness envelops her, and when her eyes flutter open, she's somewhere else. A man stands before her, his skin pale and rotting, red eyes and sharp teeth too big for his mouth.
That sounds like a zombie White Walker.
Where is she? Is this the Bloodbane? A hallucination? Light bursts back in her vision as Kane yanks her away and throws her to the ground. Get up, Chaol whispers from the sidelines, his voice cracking.
Is this all you've got?
Kane sneers, his voice dripping with mockery. Get up.
Chaol says again, louder this time. Celaena's fingers twitch, stretching toward his outstretched hand at the edge of the ring. She forces herself to meet his eyes.
Get up,
he says once more, and his voice becomes her anchor.
This must be their Rocky and Mickey moment. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, Rocky. Yes, certainly. It definitely sounds like it.
Get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you.
Yeah, get up. She stands, but barely. And then she sees Chaol's expression shift as his face twists in fear. And Kane grabs her again, slamming her against the clock tower. And darkness swallows her whole. This time, it's not a hallucination. The veil between the worlds lifts and she sees them. Creatures with wings, slicing into her flesh as they pass. The truth hits her like a blow. The clock tower is a portal. They meant to bring her here. Freedom or death, those are her only choices now.
Rage surges through her. Swinging at the shadows with all she has, she catches Kane's figure in the light. He reaches for her throat, but she twists free, though not before he rips the eye of Celaena from her neck. The bloodbane takes hold, and suddenly she's surrounded. An army of dead. They came for her.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So again, we are hearts pounding, adrenaline going. And before we talk about where we just left off, let's start from the beginning. And not Kane, but Celaena whooping Graves' ass.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. It's like that. I don't know if anyone out there has seen Bloodsport. Jen, I finally showed her Bloodsport, which she loved, by the way. Jean-Claude Van Damme, probably his best movie. But you remember that scene where he annihilates Chong Li's record?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Remember Chong Li.
Chong Li.
Oh my gosh. I highly recommend that if you have not watched Bloodsport. It is on your watch list.
Love it. We also knew the king wasn't going to let her rest.
Yes. She called that. You called that. Good call.
Yeah.
And the poison, which we knew that Caltaine and the Duke were planning on doing, we didn't know it was going to be Bloodbane until now. So it doesn't seem like a lethal dose.
No, it just seems like it was meant to weaken her.
Yeah, just enough to weaken her and apparently maybe help get her into this other world. So it looks like the clock tower is a portal.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
We knew
we called that.
We called that from the beginning. Though,
yeah, we were like, oh, that's got to be some kind of portal or some kind of... I wonder if it's the word marks still that make it the portal. Anyways.
No, I mean, the word marks I still think are like, again, like a dial. Like
yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay, the dial.
For all you younger people listening to us, I don't know if you remember the dial phones, or hitting the buttons. But we had to do that back in the day.
Please stop aging us like that.
I'm so sorry. So anyway, the army of the dead.
Where did they come from?
So that's scary.
Yeah. I wonder, isn't the king went away with all of those people?
Okay.
Is this his army of the dead? Did he kill all of those people? Am I in the ocean again?
So we are tinfoil hatting right now.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, we're not going to go too far into tinfoil hats because we have a wrap-up episode coming, which is where we're going to really get into our tinfoil hats for what's coming up. However, I do think, because remember, I think Celaena mentioned that it took a lot of power to get the Ritter Rack out. So you can only get like one Ritter Rack out at a time through a portal.
Oh.
So I think they can't get the army of the dead out yet, and then maybe the clock tower was a way to try, but maybe it's not big enough, so they might have. So maybe the king was away, big tinfoil hat. Maybe he was away to other places, setting up more clock towers to like make a big portal to bring this army of the dead through. Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I went crazy there.
All right. Well, are you ready to turn the page?
I am. And now, chapter 49.
The poison within. Dorian could only stand frozen as Celaena screamed, thrashing at something unseen. Kane was unrelenting, and there was nothing that neither he nor Chaol could do to stop it and not risk her disqualification. Nehemia moves to the edge of the ring, her voice calm as she traces symbols into the air, barely concealed behind her cloak. Celaena is here, but not here, on her knees, and she looks ready to surrender, almost like a silent dare for death to take her.
Nehemia is doing symbols in the air, right?
She's doing some kind of...
So is that magic? Do we think?
I don't know. She's doing some kind of magic, right?
Is she doing word marks in the air?
She's doing some kind of magic?
Well, she's doing something. I'm excited.
Me too.
Oh my gosh.
I know. You're all about the magic.
Well, I want the magic because the king sucks and we need to bring the magic back.
I love it.
Like the stag appearing. Come on now. All the magic for everybody.
But we know that the word marks are outside of magic. So maybe she's doing word marks?
Or maybe she's drawing a stag and a stag will magically appear and save everybody.
Oh, that'd be great too, I guess. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I'm rooting for a stag.
This stag.
In the darkness that consumed her, Celaena saw only death, shadows closing in and Kane's twisted presence everywhere. But then, Celaena arrives like a burst of light, scattering the dead and breaking through the nightmare. With words of power, she removes the poison from Celaena's body.
Woo! A gust of wind sends the head of Nehemia's staff to Celaena, as the same gusts hold Kane in place, away from her. The queen traces some marks onto Celaena's forehead. she will no longer see the other realm or the queen once the poison leaves her body.
That's a good thing. No more gross otherworldly creatures. I'm happy.
But they're still there, right? She just can't see them? Which is better?
Well, she's not going to have poison, so she can at least fight back.
That's true. Okay.
You were brought here. All of you were. All the players in this unfinished game, Kane says.
What? What kind of cryptic shit is that?
Right?
Well, Celaena flares some sick blue light from her hands after forming a symbol with her fingers, and the light starts blasting away at Shadow Kane's body. She blasts the shield again against the demons or zombies, whatever you want to call them. And as the poison fades, the world starts to lighten into reality, thank goodness. And now she can feel the reality of her aches and pains too, so that's no good.
Yeah, that's not good, but at least she's out of the otherworldly world and she's got no poison, so she can actually fight back now.
Yeah, she's recovering. Good.
But now she sees Nehemia at the edge of the circle, hands moving strangely. Celaena commands her to stand as the poison finally leaves Celaena's body. Kane is now a man of flesh and blood again, stalking over to her. Celaena whispers, probably a bit more sternly,
"Stand."
Kane is close now, no shadows around him anymore. She lifts the remnants of the staff and her eyesight is good to go now. She stands.
Ooh.
All right, so we're not done with the fight, but let's
the poison is gone.
Poison's gone. Poison's gone.
Now she's got her faculties about her. If she's not too beat up, like maybe she stands a chance, but she's only got a little tiny bit of a...
Let's start with the beginning. Let's start with Dorian. So again, he is watching Celaena flail against her enemies.
And he's just sitting there still.
Well, but he's also seeing her flail against enemies that are unseen. So he's like, what is she fighting against?
So what does he think is happening? He knows she's drugged and he's just too big of a pansy to talk to his dad about it?
I don't think it's a big pansy. His dad is a person who removed magic and has burned cities and has I would be terrified to stop and fight too.
But that's his son. I don't know. I don't know how loyalties lie back then or whenever that was.
I know we want the knight in shining armor moment from Dorian and stuff like that, but this is Celaena's moment, I think, is the whole point of this.
Well, Nehemia bops in, so at least she's over there tracing symbols in the air.
Yeah, what is she doing?
I don't know, but she's trying to do something, and Chaol's over there trying to do something too.
So do you think, okay, so if we go back to the events in time, so she's fighting the things and Nehemia pops up, she starts doing the symbols, and then Celaena appears. Do we think Nehemia called Celaena or helped call Celaena?
Called Celaena?
Celaena, sorry. Yeah, Celaena.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
That'd be cool. Maybe she opened a portal. Oh, maybe she's opening a portal. Ooh.
In the book, it says that Celaena, her features have changed, which I think is very important. Like, she's finally in battle gear. Because I think Celaena is like, I didn't know she was a warrior.
Oh.
And also, she looks more fey. Like, her features are a lot more slender, and she's got more fey features.
More than on the sarcophagus, you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that is huge detail.
Okay. Very
so
interesting.
I think SJM really wanted us to know about Elena's fey lineage.
All right. I want to talk about a little bit more about what was seen by everyone in the area and what wasn't seen. Like, we know that Dorian didn't see what she was fighting against. Assume that no one there could see anything.
Maybe. Obviously, Kane can, because he's controlling the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's in the shadow world and everything. But can the Duke and maybe the King? Because we know they're in on it.
Yeah, they're all in on it.
And we know the Duke has a ring.
Oh, all right. So maybe they're in on it. They talked about the wind roared through the veranda. Is it like whipping around them and it's just really weird? And they're just, oh, this is some really weird wind. Yeah. And she's all tripping out down there. Like, how does that not...
I didn't think about that. Yeah, holy crap. I didn't think about that. So yeah, if the wind is holding Kane back, because Elena's creating the wind.
That's some serious wind.
Because I agree. So they wouldn't see the wind hurting the army of the dead, but they would at least see it with Kane. And they'd be like, why can't Kane move? And you would think the king would question that. Someone as big and as huge as Kane just randomly can't move on his own. Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I was just curious about what they may or may not have seen.
We'll hit that more on the wrap-up episode. How about that?
All right. I love it.
Are you ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
On to chapter 50.
I will not be afraid. Celaena's battered, bloodied, and clearly down, but she's not out. As the wind picks up, it's like a movie moment. Her hair shifts, and suddenly there's this glowing blue mark on her forehead. So bright, it's practically screaming, "Hey, look at me!" Kane freezes. The king actually makes a step closer, And Nehemia gasps, like, this is the last thing that she expected. Celaena, though, she just wipes the blood from her mouth, spits at the floor, and locks eyes with Cain. Not today.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Mm-hmm. Cain lunges, sword swinging, but Celaena's faster. With pinpoint precision, she jams the jagged staff right into his unguarded ribs, exactly where Chaol told her was vulnerable. The hit lands perfectly, and blood spills everywhere. She slashes his arm, and then the other, and she's leaving him defenseless. This sounds like the bridge in the Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, yeah, with the Black Knight.
Yes, the Black Knight.
Yeah, 'tis but the scratch.
Yeah, it's just a scratch. He's fine. His final move, a desperate lunge. It sounds exactly like the Black Knight. Her response, she dodges, and he plants face first into the ground. She puts a foot on his back, presses the staff to his neck, and she's a picture of deadly efficiency at this point.
Got him. He's down.
Yep, got him.
But then, just for a second, she hesitates. Should she just end him?
Yes.
It would be easy. He knows too much about her past, her weaknesses. But no, not like this. Instead, she lifts her chin, locking eyes with the king. Decisions made. She's the victor, the king's champion. 4 years of servitude, then freedom.
Woo.
It's over, except not really. The adrenaline slams the brakes and her body follows. She stumbles towards Nehemia, who also looks about 2 seconds from a full-on dramatic heroin collapse before her legs give out completely. And look who finally decides to do something. Dorian rushes forward as she crumbles, pulling a total Peter Parker in Infinity War. Except this time, Celaena's not dusting away. I'm sorry, I know that scene was so sad in the movie.
Oh my goodness.
Broke everybody. Celaena's laughing, I know we're not. Tears streaking her face. She won. Somehow, against all odds, she survived.
So, Celaena's a puddle of laughter and relief on the floor. Dorian, however, is scanning her injuries like a man on a mission. He's furious with himself, like he should be. Why didn't he stop this? He knew something was wrong. She'd been drugged, for crying out loud. She would have helped him in a heartbeat, and yet he froze. Now he's silently piecing things together, casting looks around the room. He looks at Caltaine and Parrington, and as he does, he misses the glance that is shared between Cain and his father.
What do you think that glance is for?
We're about to find out.
All right.
Because Chaol does not miss the look, thank goodness. Because he springs into action the moment Cain pulls a dagger, because he is aiming to stab Celaena in the back. He is such a sore loser, like for real. Chaol intercepts him with a single decisive move, his sword plunging straight into Cain's heart. Blood sprays everywhere, Kill Bill style.
That was the best scene in the first Kill Bill movie, and I think that's the scene where she fights Lucy Liu and all the assassins, and the blood is going everywhere as they chop off limbs.
Is that in the restaurant?
No. That's in, I think she's in, Japan or something like that, or somewhere. I forget. She's somewhere over in Asia, it's a big, castle thing with Lucy Liu and all the assassins. You don't remember that part? And slicing off arms and blood spraying everywhere. It's like the bloodiest, bloodiest scenes ever.
I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same place. Just a big square room that has a whole bunch of floors on it and a big empty square in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about the same place.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I just thought it was a restaurant for some reason.
It might be. I haven't seen Kill Bill in years. I just remember the ridiculous amount of blood in that part of the scene. And I want to say they set a record. Unfortunately, we don't have that guy like Joe Rogan and all the other podcasters have where they have, hey, can you look this up for me real quick? It's too damn long for me to look it up. But I want to say they broke a record for amount of blood in that scene or something like that, which doesn't surprise me.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me considering who directed it.
Yes, thanks, Quentin Tarantino. Cain collapses, taking his final breath as Chaol stares in horror at his own hands. He's actually shaken and he's whispering, "What have I done?" And you feel it. He's not just mourning the act. He's grappling with what this changes about himself. What does this change about how he sees himself?
Oh, well, yeah, it's the first time he's killed anybody.
That's crazy.
Celaena, meanwhile, is spiraling. She's shaking so hard it makes her injuries worse, and she's straight up rambling. Queen Elena, poison being purged from her body. How close she came to losing everything. Dorian, absolutely lost. But the council, they're locked in, hanging on every word like it's the season finale of Game of Thrones pre-disappointment era. Their calculating stares pressing as she unravels. Meanwhile, Dorian makes a silent vow, no matter what it takes, he'll make sure Celaena is free. He's finally realizing just how far he'd go for her, and for the first time, it doesn't scare him anymore.
So he waited till after she was poisoned and nearly died to make this realization. Cool, bro. Cool.
Let's give him a little bit of a break. Dude's only 19.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give him the 19-year-old only break.
And this is, again, probably the first time, remember, he's been in love. Again, we don't know anything about that Rosamund chick. But
yeah, okay.
Seeing what happened to Celaena, I know what you're saying. He should have stopped it because this woman was getting her ass whooped. And she probably could have died. But seeing that, now he's like, now I'll do it. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's kind of... Yeah.
It's like after the fact, like cool thing.
Yeah. Oh, I get it now. I'm trying so hard to defend it, and I just can't.
At least Chaol was down there.
I get Chaol's position because Chaol is only the captain of the guard, so he knows that King could make an example of him and screw him up. But Chaol was still there, like, get up, doing the Mickey and Rocky moment. But Dorian, like you said, is the crown prince, the son, and
he doesn't have any sway at all.
And we've seen him talk back to his father before.
Yeah.
So I guess it is kind of cringe. I get
it's a little bit. It gives me the ick a little bit, I'll be honest.
Speaking of the ick, you ready?
Hey,
it's Rompier!
And she is losing it. She's watching Dorian carry Celaena off the battlefield. Her rage is practically radiating off of her. How is Celaena alive, let alone victorious? The Duke, meanwhile, is quietly fuming. The king looks one step away from snapping, and Caltain's mind is just spiraling. Did Parrington give her enough bloodbane? Did she fail somehow? Her headache blooms into a blinding pain, and her vision darkens. Something inside her breaks, and she storms over to Parrington, hissing accusations. And we have got to quote this part because it is that good. I thought you said this would work.
She fought to keep her voice in a whisper.
I thought you said this damn drug would work.
The king and the duke stared at her, and the councilmen exchanged glances as Caltain straightened. Then, slowly, the duke rose from his seat. What is that in your hand? The duke asked a bit too loudly.
You know what it is, she seethed, still trying to keep her voice down, even as the pain in her head turned into a thunderous roar. She could scarcely think straight. She could only answer to the fury inside of her. The damned poison I gave her, she murmured, so only Parrington could hear.
Poison? Parrington asked so loud Caltain's eyes grew so wide. You poisoned her? Why would you do that? He motioned to 3 guards.
Why did the king not speak? Why did he not come to her aid? Parrington had given her the poison based on the king's command, hadn't he? The council members looked at her accusingly, whispering among themselves. You gave it to me, she said to the duke.
Parrington's orange brows furrowed. What are you talking about?
Caltain started forward. You scheming son of a harlot!
Restrain her, please.
The duke had played her like a fool the whole time.
Woo! Woo, she's hot.
She's super hot. She pleads with the king. The duke told her that he had instructed her, but the duke looks away, the king looks away, and the guards lead her away. And her parting words to Parrington are, I'll kill you! And I believe if she's ever actually given the chance, she's definitely going to. I'm honestly hoping that this isn't the last time that we see Ms. Rompier.
Oh, what's that old saying? Hell hath no fury.
Like a woman scorned.
Exactly. And
oh man,
the time that we have spent with our wonderful Rompier, we know that she is not going to take this line down.
No, and we did feel though like he kept asking probing questions.
Yep.
And she kept being a little too interested in the crown prince. Like she showed her cards pretty early to him.
Oh yeah.
And he's no dummy apparently. So yeah, he played her.
So hopefully we'll find out more about why the Duke has decided to betray Caltain.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go back up to the top real quick. So I guess that top part answered my question. None of them saw the spectacle, so nobody out there saw it.
Okay.
They didn't see the shadows in the gusting wind. They just saw or just felt wind, a lot of wind.
Okay, so probably they just thought it was like some giant gust of wind.
Just some weird wind tornado. I don't know. All right. I'm not going to look too far into that.
Yeah.
And then Celaena remembers the tip that Chaol had given her before the duels, and it comes in right at the nick of time. She is hobbling on fumes, but with her remaining bit of staff, that was how she was able to take Cain down. So without that bit of knowledge from Chaol, I'm not sure that she would have been able to.
But I'm still curious, though. I wonder how she would have done with Chaol's sword. Because with the staff broken in two, I mean, I'm not trying to think about foreshadowing, but, it's still, broken in two. But like with a sword, it never would have broken. And then she could have held on to it the whole time. unless he just knocked it out of her hands. I'm just
Yeah,
nitpicking
I'm
here.
not sure.
I think I'm just nitpicking here.
It was all about the symbolism for that one.
I know, but both were great symbols, and I'm a sword guy, and I would have picked a sword over a staff anyway. That's just me, because I know, like, Cain would have picked the sword. Strategery for me instead of feelings, but I get it. Celaena picked feelings instead of strategery.
Well, she knew without the bloodbane that she would be able to kick his ass no matter what.
That's true.
So it wouldn't have mattered to her whichever weapon she chose. But with that bloodbane kicking in, she may have been better with a sword, because she immediately realized, oh my God, I am poisoned. This has to end. There's no toying with this. I have to end it before it completely F's me up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Before the hallucinations start.
Yeah, because she wouldn't have counted on the bloodbane. So yeah,
No.
I guess taking the staff would make sense. She would probably still would have whooped his ass.
Yeah. I think it even says that in the book. Like, it didn't matter which weapon she chose. She chose this one because of the symbolism of it.
Well, also, she didn't know that he was going to send her ass to a whole different world with an army of the goddamn dead.
Also true.
So yeah, a lot of surprises for Celaena. See why she picked the staff to begin with, but now we understand why the sword would have came more in handy.
I mean, unless, what if the wind wouldn't have blown the sword over? What if that was the whole, I mean, if the wind was holding Cain, maybe it would have blown the sword over. Okay, anyways.
That's assuming that, she would have been disarmed anyway. Now
That's true.
Now we're just nitpicking.
Yeah, nitpicking. All right. Well, Dorian is busy beating himself up for not stepping in when Chaol does the ultimate steps in between Cain and Celaena, when he literally tries to stab her in the back after she just won fair and square after they poisoned her.
I don't know why you're surprised.
I'm not surprised, but sore ass losers.
Cain, bad guy with evil army of dead. I don't know why you're surprised that he would have tried to kill her at the very end. I mean, that was their whole plan anyways, was to kill Celaena. I mean, yeah, fuck Cain, but also kind of screw Dorian too, and we kind of touched on that a little bit. I mean, I tried to help Dorian out on why he didn't help Celaena, but...
I mean, he knows his father better than we do, so maybe he knows more about what would have happened if he had stood up to him in front of the council. Maybe he would have beheaded him in front of everybody. I don't know.
Good point.
But he could have done something. That's my thing. Or would that have looked bad? And then maybe the king would have, when she won, been like, nope, sorry, you've corrupted my son. And this is all supposition, though, because it doesn't matter, because he didn't do what we think he should have done.
I mean, he could have at least done one thing.
Something.
Doug, at least just say something to your dad. Worst case scenario, your dad says no. Because, I think you're right. You said it earlier that, oh, well, it's his son. The king's not going to kill him. So if he would have just asked at least once, then you and I probably wouldn't have given Dorian shit. We'd have been like, okay, at least he asked the king to stop. And what is Dorian going to do after that if the king says no? So at least we would have given him props for that. But he didn't even do that.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
No.
He didn't ask anybody. No. Anyway.
But speaking of screwing people over, god dang Duke.
Yes.
Woo! Rampier is going to be hot.
She is hot. I really hope that this is not the last we've seen of her. Maybe she's in the prisons or the dungeons or something, and I don't know. I'm really excited. I hope this is not the last of her.
Well, again, Tinfoil Hat, I think one of us mentioned that we think she also could be magical.
Oh, that's right.
Could be. I mean, could be, but we'll find out.
There was one thing that was said in the book. It said that it was so violent that her vision went obsidian.
Was that Rampier?
Yeah. Just what does that mean?
So it could be connected to her headache, maybe?
It made me think Clock Tower.
I mean, Clock Tower, we literally just mentioned that she could be magical.
Usually, like in Supernatural and stuff, when their eyes go obsidian, they're demons or something. So that's kind of where my brain went was, my gosh, did she
Hold on. Are we playing the eye color game right now?
Listen here.
You were giving me shit about gray eyes.
Gray eyes isn't here. But her vision went obsidian.
The whole time with gray eyes. Come on. Neither one are natural eye colors. Black, gray, unless you're getting contacts. And I don't think they had contacts back then, lady.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
With her obsidian eyes, could be magical.
It's not even her obsidian eyes. Her vision went obsidian. What does that mean?
Well, she does black out. So remember when she has her headache, she blacks out and then she doesn't remember where she appears. So maybe she was getting ready to black out. Whatever's causing headaches, maybe she's getting ready to black out.
Oh, man. I'm really excited. Okay. All right. Are you ready to turn the page?
Well, let's do it. All right. Let's do it. Chapter 51.
Loyalties on trial.
Dorian sits with his father, a real Darth Vader Luke Skywalker moment. having their version of a heart-to-heart as he navigates the fallout of Chaol killing Cain to protect Celaena. The king sidesteps, flipping the script and pressing Dorian for his opinion. Should Chaol face no punishment? Dorian plays it safe, arguing that Chaol acted honorably, that executing him for defending someone, even an assassin, would be unjust. But his father counters with a cold, philosophical jab, weighing the worth of an assassin against that of a soldier. It's a test, and Dorian knows it.
That's bullshit.
It is.
It was still a stab in the back. Anyways.
Well, the king's mad because it didn't work.
Yeah.
The conversation shifts, a subtle undercut of suspicion creeping in. Does the king suspect Dorian's sympathies for Celaena? And then boom, the gut punch. The king drops a loaded question. How would you feel if it had been me who betrayed her?
Ooh, okay, that feels like a test of loyalty wrapped up in this nice, neat little hypothetical. That's tricky.
And maybe that's why Dorian didn't go to him to save Celaena during the fight. And that's pretty, the king is testing him. So Dorian keeps his response neutral, but inside he's seething as his father coldly labels Celaena a monster, a tool, and nothing more. The king wrings the conversation dry, extracting exactly what he needs. Confirmation that Dorian's attachment to Celaena is a weakness.
Oh, no.
He's got something on him now.
Yep.
But just before the meeting ends, Dorian pushes back.
Fine a fucking Lee.
He challenges his father on Parrington's plan to use Nehemia as a hostage to manipulate Elway's rebels. He argues against it carefully, logically, and somehow convinces his father, the king, to shut it down. A small win, but Dorian knows better than to start just celebrating yet.
Oof, my goodness. Well, Celaena is beaten to hell and she's wrapped in bandages, struggling to rest as pain and relentless nightmares crash over her like waves. The amulet, Cain snapped it off of her neck. She's missing it. It felt like the one thing that shielded against that chaos. Nehemia walks into her chambers unannounced, bringing a strange mix of comfort and chaos along with her. Right off the bat, no pretense, Nehemia confirms. Yep, it was me. I saved your life. No sugarcoating, just the truth.
Yeah, we thought that.
Yeah, we thought that. Then Nehemia spills that the bloodbane in Caltain's wine stripped away the barriers, and that's what let Celaena see the otherworldly batter, letting Celaena see the otherworldly battle. So it sounds like Nehemia thinks that it reacted some way with Celaena's blood in some freak magic way. Magic calls to magic, she quoted. That makes Celaena shift uncomfortably.
Why is everybody cryptic? So what does she mean, magic calls to magic?
We've always assumed that Celaena had some kind of magic, right?
So do you think because she had the bloodbane in her and she was in the other world and she saw that stuff that Celaena's magic called out to other magic, which brought Elena?
No.
No.
I think that the bloodbane allowed her magic to talk to the other magic to allow her to see the other side.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking that if anybody else had been given the bloodbane, they would not have seen what she saw.
Okay.
That's how I took that.
Yeah, because, all right, she didn't drink the bloodbane during the poison test because she knew which one's bloodbane and she passed, so she didn't know the effects on herself.
Yeah, thanks
that
to
makes
Paylor.
sense. Okay.
All right, well, now it's Celaena's turn, and she calls out Nehemia for pretending not to know the common tongue earlier. But Nehemia has a good explanation. I like it. Strategy. People let things slip when they think you don't understand. And I have good reference of that when I was in Korea getting my nails done and that kind of thing. They didn't know that I spoke the language there as well.
Oh, that had to be fun.
It was a lot of fun. She used the lessons with Celaena as a way to build their friendship, an unexpected moment of honesty from the princess. And then Nehemia just starts dropping bombshells. She knows about the word marks. She knows how to use them. She's been secretly cleaning up Cain's mess by banishing the creature he summons and then can't control after the fact. She's been sneaking into Celaena's room to drop protective word marks under the bed, we called that, only for Celaena to unknowingly erase them every time. And on top of that, there's her family's hidden knowledge, the mysterious symbol on Celaena's forehead, and Cain's dangerous knowledge of word marks, and her past.
So that was a lot to take in.
That was a lot. It was a lot to
So are
drop.
we saying Nehemia is a certified badass? So we were right that there's extra Ritteracks.
Yep.
And she's banishing them every single time. And we saw like what Celaena had to do to kill one. And Nehemia is just banishing every time there's one, it's banishing.
But is she just able to... She's not fighting them, though. It sounds like she's probably using the word marks to banish them rather than, hey, let me grab what's Damaris.
I'm just saying, that's so
Oh, yeah.
badass because, they sound very frightening.
Yeah, and she doesn't see. She's like, yeah, I took care of those 20.
Yeah, she's just going around, I'm going to take care of these by myself.
Well, to top it all off, at the very end, she tosses the amulet back to Celaena, solidifying their bond, even while acknowledging that, hey, we're on different paths now. But despite the secrets, the loyalty and trust between them shines through, even though there are shadows of what's to come.
All right. Well, we will get to that. And as always, let's start at the beginning of this chapter with the king and Dorian.
Oh, man. He is smart. I mean, clearly, he's got strategic, looking at how to figure out what his son's weaknesses are. And he just kind of lets Dorian kind of walk into it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'm a little upset we didn't get to spend a lot of time with the king in this book. I would have liked to see how evil and maniacal he really is, but...
Well, with the next book, Crown of Midnight, I have my fingers crossed. Maybe he is the main character. Maybe he is the main bad guy in that one.
Oh, I'm sure he is, but let's keep that in our pocket for our bonus episode.
Well, speaking of the king, Dorian finally grows a pair. I love it. He bares his teeth. He actually bared his teeth at the king. And it says it was the first time he'd ever looked at his father like that. And it sounds like he liked the way it made him feel. That seemed to be the key. He was like, oh, this feels good. This defiant feeling of I'm standing up for what I believe in. And he liked that.
And I don't know if I read it wrong, but I feel like the king is actually sort of proud of him in a way for standing up, because I think the king is like, he's finally becoming a man and not this little playboy prince anymore.
It definitely said that he sat down. So I'm wondering if that was one of oh, all right, he stood up to me finally, and yeah, all right, I'll sit down for that.
Could be a little sign of respect, like, okay, I will listen to you, because he could just banish him, but he was like, okay, I'm going to sit down, and we're going to have a talk, all right?
As his father sat down slowly, Dorian wondered if the king was considering whether he had become a genuine concern. To Dorian's surprise, he realized he didn't care. So he finally realized it's time to start questioning his dad, and he doesn't care. He does still a little bit. He's not willing to go full force, but he's at least showing a backbone now.
He's testing the waters. He's dipping his toes in, is what you're saying.
He is, and that's good. But he is terrified. He is absolutely terrified of his father.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's because of something in the past that's happened, but hopefully we'll find out.
All right, well, let's talk about somebody else that has a ton of bravery, Nehemia.
Oh my goodness, yes. She knows so many things.
Taking on Ritteracks by herself, banishing them every time they kill somebody, and she's the one doing the chalk drawings underneath the bed the whole time.
We assume that they're all Ritteracks. Are they all Ritteracks? I mean, I assume they all have the same claw thing, the claw marks. It just says creatures.
Yeah, they did mention other creatures when she was in that other world, because you had the flying creatures that were clawing at her. You had the first creature she saw, the dead dude in her face.
Yeah, I thought that was Shadowcane.
No, that Shadowcane came later.
Oh, okay.
That was the first creature she saw. But so it could be all Ritteracks, or it could be other creatures that come one at a time. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, she's getting rid of them, so badass.
That was one of our tinfoil hats, so we guessed it right. At first, we did say that these are probably protection for Celaena, but then we kind of backed off and said, well, Baron, when he died, had the same symbol.
The middle symbol.
Yeah, the middle symbol. So, but I did say that maybe that one symbol was a protection for Baron.
I'm thinking that symbol was the symbol that marked them, and the symbols around it protected whoever was marked.
Okay. That's a possibility.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know how word marks work. Let's ask Nehemia.
I mean, well, Nehemia didn't mention that one, but obviously she is definitely a genius with word marks, as she mentioned.
Well, it's in her family, so she's grown up with it, but it's very kept within her family, though. Yes, very hush-hush.
And that's why she's upset that Cain knows a lot and is trying to figure out all these word marks.
That's right. She is not happy about that. Rightfully so.
So that tells me that these word marks and the word in general, this whole, I don't know if it's a religion, if we're going to call it that, is very powerful and magic influenced.
I love it. Well, whatever it is, because it's not magic, because it's outside of magic.
That's right. Outside of magic, whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means.
What is outside of magic?
I don't know. Maybe they're just saying that magic doesn't exist and this is what magic is. I don't know.
It's very cryptic. Again, the whole cryptic thing. We're going back to being very cryptic again.
I love it.
I'm very intrigued. All right. Are you ready to turn the page?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's do it. Chapter 52.
The King's Secrets.
The day after the duel, Dorian shows up to check on Celaena. She's physically wrecked, but he's the one who looks truly shattered. Watching her fight, watching her nearly die, it broke something in him. She asks about Chaol, and Dorian assures her that he'll be fine. After all, he got to save her, and Dorian didn't. And that's what's really eating at him. He felt powerless, as if he should have done more, been the one to protect her. The words barely leave his mouth when it happens. Green skin, yellow fangs. The image slams into her mind like a horror movie jump scare, quick as a blink, but enough to send an ice-cold shiver through her bones.
She tells Dorian he has nothing to apologize for. They get cozy, and Celaena can feel the punishment she took the day before. After some silence, Celaena asks if Dorian actually thought she could win when he came to Endovir to get her. Quote,
"Of course. Why else would I have bothered to journey so far to find you?"
However, he did admit that he didn't see their thing happening.
However, we did.
We did.
And that green skin, yellow fangs, we will talk about that here at the end.
Yes.
Scene change. Cut to the king and Natung. And I don't know why I put that in there. It's not really that important why his sword was there. However, you got to say Natung so many times, and I haven't, and I feel like it's a fun word, Natung.
All right. Well, enjoy that then.
I do. And who else is there? The brown-nosing bootlicker throwing a glass's own version of Lord Baelish Borrington on his knees. The king is still weighing his options, debating whether he can truly trust Celaena, which is why her contract remains unsigned. But honestly, he's got bigger headaches, like Dorian, who's finally showing signs of growing a backbone. However, maybe a few months on the battlefield will knock that out of him and turn him into a man/warrior, which is what the king really wants. But the assassin, what about her? With Cain dead, she is now, unfortunately, his best option.
Uh-oh.
Right? Yet that word mark. He knows those symbols well, but not this one. If she's tangled up in some prophecy or dark magic, he'll soon find out. And when he does, he'll end her without hesitation. Foreshadowing.
A bit.
Just a little bit. Until then, he'll keep her close. Watch, wait, and the moment she becomes a threat, he'll snuff her out before she even sees it coming.
Oh, goodness. Well, then he congratulates the Duke for his manipulation of Celaena. It was the Duke's ring that was causing her headaches. He was impressed that the Duke was able to find out Celaena's plans and manipulate them to his own advantage.
Nice, we knew it.
They called it an experiment. Okay, great. Cain was an experiment as well. His was the physical transformation, while Celaena's was the ability to influence thoughts and emotions. Interesting. The Duke shows a little tiny bit of remorse for Celaena, but the king assures him, she'll be just fine. I'll make her an offer she can't refuse.
Yeah, little godfather, I'll make her an offer she can't refuse.
That was
bad. I apologize, everybody.
I love you. As the Duke was leaving, the king shouts his name, and when he does, the green fireplace reacts. He tells the Duke they still have much to do in Aurelia, and to stop the bullshit kidnapping the princess plan. It's drawing too much attention.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be. Let's start at the top. Dorian, do you think he should apologize to Celaena?
For what?
For not stepping in and doing anything.
I don't think she expected him to.
I can see that. And I don't think that he needs to apologize because, I think Celaena saw something like this coming to where it might be a fight to the death. And this is all a game. And Dorian has to play the game. And Celaena was playing the game, in my opinion.
I mean, it's not a game to her. It's life or death. But yes, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand that. I don't think he should have to apologize. I mean, I understand why he wants to, but I understand why she doesn't feel like he has to. She was there to be a champion, to be the king's champion. Literally, the only reason he would have had to step in is because those fucking cheaters. So he wouldn't have had to do anything if it weren't for them.
Well, and let's be honest, it could be worse. She could still be in Endovir and be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
So real quick, green skin.
Yeah.
Yellow fangs.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Because nothing like that popped up on our radar in any part of this book so far, I don't think. Because the Ritterak did not have any of that description.
You don't think that was maybe the dude that was there at first when she went into the clock tower? Into the portal or whatever?
No, because he had like pale skin, red eyes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, so this is something different. Now, I'm not going to get too far tinfoil hat with this one because, I mean, that's literally the only description we had and it just flashed in her mind. We can kind of play around with that during our wrap-up episode.
I like that. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at that again and see in the chapter and look at that a little bit more and see if I can glean a little bit more information.
Yeah, and speaking of getting more information, so we got a lot more information from the Duke and the King and how they played Celaena.
Oh my goodness. This is diabolical on their part.
Well, like I said, he is our version of Lord Baelish from Game of Thrones. Parrington is. He's going to be playing from behind the scenes and manipulating people.
So is the king the Mad King then? Or...
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's already a Mad King. If you're destroying magic and destroying entire civilizations and ruling, yeah, he's already mad. We just don't know how mad because he's been gone.
I'm curious to see exactly what it means that they're able to influence thoughts and emotions. Like, did she come with the intention of being with the crown prince? Or did she come with the intention of being part of court and was given the thought of, hey, you could be more? I don't know. I'm not sure what her intention was.
The very last thing that Celaena said when she was being dragged away, I'll kill you. I think that she is that person, and I think what the ring was doing was just amplifying emotions. So I think it amplifies your emotions. I don't know if it, but it might also still fully control, because remember, she had blackouts too, and she would wake up not remembering where she was.
Oh, that's true. But that's not actions. That's
there's levels of control, because in this chapter, the Duke explains that her headaches were getting too strong because we were using the ring too much on her. So I'm wondering if there's like certain levels where he can control a little bit of her feelings and then like really turn up the juice and then like really get her to do his bidding.
But those are two different things. Having control over thoughts and emotions and having control over someone's physical being are totally different things.
Yeah, well, not really. I mean, because it depends on how much the control on your emotions and thoughts are on your brain, because it could totally turn your brain off while they're controlling your thoughts. You might not remember.
I mean, I guess you could have the thought to get up and move.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I think we're getting a little bit too deep into it. All right, we'll play around with it during the wrap-up episode. One more, though, that we're going to touch on real quick, because I know you have an affinity for the fireplace, the green fireplace, so it flickered.
Yeah.
When he yelled the Duke's name. So
yeah, what's that about? Why does it flicker? Why is the fireplace reacting?
Okay. So I don't know if I want to do my tinfoil hat, because remember I said that the glass castle's a conduit, right?
Ooh, and his voice was echoing through the chamber. Maybe
I don't want to ruin tinfoil hats here,
I don't know.
But I think the glass castle's a conduit, and it's connected to the king, because when he gets emotional is when that shit flickers. Is when he's like yelling and stuff, and then that it like flickers behind him, because you see it all the time, like in Disney movies.
This isn't a Disney movie. This is Throne of Glass.
I know it's not a Disney movie, but everyone uses the same tropes, okay? When like a powerful person gets angry and like the fireplace and fire behind them erupts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I'm wondering if that's what's going on here. So it could be connected to his power, or again, tinfoil hat, glass castle conduit. Who knows?
I like it. Okay.
You ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
And on to chapter 53.
The cost of freedom.
It's been a week since the duel, and Celaena is finally starting to feel human again. She's trying to rest, trying to let her body heal, but one thing keeps gnawing at her: the king's contract. A whole week, and she still hasn't seen it. Dorian and Nehemia stops by often, the prince even reading her to sleep some nights.
Aww.
But when she closes her eyes, the dreams come. Relentless, tangled flashes of everything that's happened in Rifthold. Full-on Doctor Strange multi-universe of madness, but every vision is a nightmare. Then at last, a surprise visit. Chaol! Both
yay.
she and Fleetfoot light up at the sight of him. He asks about her injuries, but all she can think is, where the hell have you been? As she looks at him, her mind goes straight back to the duel, to the moment he knelt beside her, reaching for her through the chaos, the Rocky and Mickey moment.
Ooh.
She thanks him for saving her life, twice now, and reaches for his hand, but he pulls away. And in that instant, she knows Cain was his first kill, and it's wrecking him just as much as her first had wrecked her.
Oh, that explains it.
But that's not all. What's really haunting him, he wanted to kill Cain.
Me too.
Wanted it too much. Real Anakin Skywalker staring into the abyss vibes.
Oh, maybe not that much.
When he asks how Cain knew about her parents, she shrugs it off. She can't tell him what she saw. She won't. Instead, she shares what little she actually remembers from the night they died. And once again, she tries to get Chaol to open up, but just like before, he pushes away, turns to leave. Not this time. She grabs him, holds him, and for a moment, he lets her.
Aw, a hug. A moment of...
He needed it.
Yeah, they both did. I don't think that either of them knew they needed it, But that was a traumatic experience for both of them to go through together. For her to go through it physically and for him to not be able to do anything when he's realizing just how much she means to him and he can't do anything to save her.
Yeah, and the only thing he could do was just tell her to get up.
To be there, to support her, to push her, to help her in any way that he could.
And then when he was able to save her, having to finally take somebody's life it's really eating at him. And that just tells you what kind of person he is. Because going back to what kind of person he is with him thinking about the 500 Elway rebels that were murdered and him questioning what is going on in Adderland. He is not what the king wants, because he's not evil. Chaol does not have an evil bone in his body, I believe.
He's not who he used to be either. Like when they went to first go get her, if anything like that had happened with Cain, he wouldn't have stopped him. He wouldn't have stopped him. He would never have stepped in. It would have just been the end of her life. And they would have dealt with the repercussions of dealing with Cain after the fact. But he would never have stepped in. I don't know at what point he decided that was his thing, but he did. I wonder if that was at the church when she got the arrow of Deanna.
I think he still would have stepped in. And here's why.
What?
Not because of respect for Celaena. It's his respect for human life.
No, I'm thinking an assassin versus a soldier. I'm thinking along the same lines as the king. He's the king's captain of the royal guard. And in his mind, a soldier is higher in rank than an assassin.
True, but I don't think that even if he didn't get to know Celaena and have feelings for her, that he would ever want her dead just because she's an assassin. I don't think he's a type.
No, but I don't think he would have stepped in and killed Cain.
No, I think he still would have.
That's a good question. Maybe we should ask everybody what they think.
Because Cain is all about being fair, and that is unfair. Chaol. Chaol is about being fair, and what Cain would have done was unfair no matter what. And Chaol is all about doing the right thing all the time, no matter who it is. So I think he would have stopped Cain still. I guarantee. I just think his moral compass.
I wish he was a real person. I would ask him.
I know, and it saddens me because I know we made fun of Chaol so much at the beginning for being a stick in the mud and all this stuff. But now that we have followed this whole journey with Chaol, I actually kind of feel bad for him, but also feel hope for him because his eyes are opening and he's growing.
He's growing. Yes, the growth is. Oh, I love the growth for him.
But he was never a bad person. He was just straight to the rules. Like he
was the captain of the royal guard
because that's what you're taught.
Yep.
And that's the only thing he's ever known. But now he's seen the atrocities and he's learning like there's goodness in an assassin. He's like, oh shit, my world is flipped upside down.
Well, we went off on a whole tangent, didn't we?
That's okay. It's okay because this needs to be explored because Chaol is a good character.
Yeah.
He's just on the wrong side and he doesn't understand why he's on the wrong side. But his eyes are finally opening up, I believe. And I think when it comes down to it, future on, I know we should be talking about this in the wrap up, but let's talk about it now. I think he's going to switch sides and go against the king.
It's possible. I'm looking forward to that.
I see it happening. Move on to Dorian.
All right. So here he comes, interrupting the hug, the moment. This was Chaol's cue to leave, of course. Dorian is very concerned for him. Both he and Celaena are. Dorian did stop by with a purpose this time, though. A happy purpose. The king has stopped dragging his feet and has a contract for her.
Finally, Jesus.
Oh, this is it. 4 years, and she is free. Finally. With all the excitement roaming around the room, Dorian steps in to kiss her. But this time she backs away. Quote, I can't be with you if I'm the king's champion. No matter what, she knows that as long as she is the king's champion, her and Dorian cannot be together. It would be too complicated. But most importantly, she has never truly been free, and she wants to know that experience. The
as you wish
was tinged with disappointment, but he agrees to remain friends. After Dorian leaves, quote, Celaena looked to the window and put a hand on her heart, whispering the word to herself again and again. Free.
Yes.
Whew. Well.
How long has it been since the duel?
It's been 1 week since Celaena won the championship. It's been 1 week since Chaol killed Cain. It's been 1 week since...
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Yes.
Hey, I knew exactly where you were going with that.
Perfect.
So I think we've beat a dead horse when it comes to Chaol on this chapter. So let's just move straight to Dorian and being handed the friend card.
Yes, I don't disagree with her at all.
Nope.
And I also did not appreciate that he is like, well, we could still keep it secret Thanks, bro. No thanks.
All right. So
What?
So again, putting my young man shoes on, I probably would have said the same thing because he's in love.
I get it. No, I understand.
And you at least want to throw that out there and be like, well, maybe if she says no, that's okay. But maybe she might say yes. And that's kind of a good thing. That shows that he really wants to be with her.
I just kind of want to point out that as far as I know, I can't say that no woman, but I'm fairly certain that most women do not like to be unacknowledged. We like to be acknowledged. We're not trying to be in secret. This is the secret relationship I'm having.
No,
over
I
here.
get it. I get it. And again, he's 19. He doesn't understand. He's just in love. And I get his side, but
I totally got the ick at that part. I was like, no, come on. Don't do that.
But I'm not disagreeing with you. I am 100% proud of Celaena because she is choosing her freedom over love. And that's not a bad thing because...
No, she was 8. She got picked up by the Assassin's Guild. She's been an assassin. Then she was in the mines. And now she's going to be the king. She's never had freedom.
Not like she told Dorian it's never going to happen. She's just saying, look, right now is not a good time. We went through some shit. And now I got to serve your dad for 4 years.
Yeah, but she said after the 4 years, like, yo, I got to figure my shit out after that too. So don't hold your breath waiting for me.
And I totally agree. But that still doesn't mean that she doesn't care for him, doesn't have feelings, doesn't love him. But she needs to find herself.
Yes, she needs to know who she is with her freedom without all of this other bullshit wrapped around her.
I mean, it goes back to that whole self-care thing. You can't, what is that saying?
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. So
like
she can't be in a relationship with her cup being empty. First of all, she doesn't know who she is, what she is. She has a rough past. I mean, the whole thing with her being an Endovier, who betrayed her, what happened to Sam, what happened to her parents, now that we know that nightmare. She's got a lot of shit to deal with. And so she doesn't really have time for a relationship.
Are we allowed to read Assassin's Blade second? Because I want to go back.
I know. I want to know what happened. Like,
what happened? But no, I'm going to read it third.
I don't have any remorse for starting Throne of Glass first because I'm kind of glad we did this. I like knowing Celaena as a character now, I wouldn't say she's not really a grown up, but as a young woman.
Mm-hmm.
And
versus when she's young.
Yeah. And then I kind of like knowing how she got to this point where she's at. To me, that's more fun.
I'm curious how close to Mistborn Assassin's Blade might be. Just as far as like teaching goes.
Oh, with her
like,
and Arobin?
Yeah.
Like you think
you think
Arobin's going to be like a Kelsier type
I'm
thing?
wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering. That's kind of how I imagined it in my head. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like that.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Assassin's Blade. But we got Crown of Midnight next. And speaking of next, are you ready to move on to our next chapter?
I am. Let's go.
On to chapter 54.
Bonds and blood. Hours later, Chaol is looking for Dorian. His mind is still on Cain. It was eating at him. He walks into Celaena's dining room asking where Dorian is, and she informs him, hey, I broke it off with Dorian, and you probably won't find him here anymore. Chaol is happy with the news and tries to hide it. He wonders how she did it, why she did it, and then he's also wondering, how can she kill and live with it all? How can she kill and be who she still is, to be this soft person that he still sees and still know what she has done in her past?
Yeah, well, I'm sure her first kill, she probably struggled as well. I'm sure after time, she learned how to deal with it.
Oh, for sure.
You just don't get over it after your first kill and be like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, this is his first one. So he has hope for himself. That's what he's finding, is he has hope for himself because she's done all of that and he's only done one. And she is still who she is after all of this time. So he has hope for himself. So she asks him to stay for a drink, and he does. And they toast to 4 years until freedom. And this time, Chaol doesn't hide his smile as he realizes, maybe 4 years isn't enough time to spend with her.
Yeah, he likes her.
He does. They shared a moment.
Well, yeah, but whether it's friend or more, he has feelings for her and cares for her. And he probably never thought he would be friends with an assassin.
I'm sure he did not.
So 4 years for him, he gets a chance to get to know her better.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe he'll continue the friendship after that. Maybe not.
All right. So later that night, Celaena is dreaming of the tomb again. It's becoming a regular thing, like some eerie built-in reminder of the Ritterak, of everything that went down. She never knew Elena was a warrior. But as Elena stands before her now, she explains that she and Gavin fought side by side against Erewhon, and that's how they fell in love. A battle-forged romance straight out of legend. Then came the part that really unsettles her. Elena tells Celaena that she has the potential to be the best of them. And the worst part, Celaena knows it. The truth sits heavy in her chest because it terrifies her. Elena, though, she's proud. Celaena becoming the King's Champion is exactly what she hoped for. Not that her cryptic little scavenger hunt of messages made it easy.
Never.
She explains that she was able to help with Cain and the other world because Celaena is needed. Not just by few, but by everyone in Aurelia. Why? She won't know until she's ready. I swear to God, Elena is more cryptic than the cereal on the tea break. Until then, she must be exactly where she is needed. Celaena exhales, her voice quieter than usual. Thank you for saving my life. Elena bows her head. Her parting words linger like a whispered promise. Blood ties can't be broken. Then just like that, she's gone.
Okay, let's start at the beginning before I start tinfoil hatting all of this. Chaol is obviously still hurting from killing Cain.
Yep.
But he's happy that he's going to have Celaena around for the next 4 years.
Yes.
He's happy to have that flicker of hope that, hey, maybe I won't turn into this hardened, battle-worn person that's just okay with killing people, because look at Celaena. She is not that person. She is still who she is.
Well, he found himself another friend besides Dorian, somebody that can now kind of understand what he is going through. Because again, this is his first kill, and he can't really talk to Dorian about that because Dorian doesn't know what that's like. And now he feels comfortable with Celaena, and he's probably going to start opening up to her because he's like, okay, well, she's dealt with this, and look at her. She's fine, like you said. So there's hope for me. And I think that's why he's also excited she's going to be around for the next 4 years to get to know her more and like kind of bond in that way, maybe.
Maybe get to know himself a little bit more as well. Maybe open up his eyes a little bit more, because she's definitely done that for him, to open up his eyes to, hey, this is Indovir. Wow. The atrocities that go on there. Probably not, was it human rights? Probably human rights violations going on over there.
Yeah, and I feel like Chaol had the most character growth out of this whole book.
I will agree.
Especially going from like a one certain person to another. And I just don't understand the hate for Chaol. I don't know, maybe he does some shit in some other books that we don't know about.
Oh, I didn't know there was hate for Chaol. Yeah. I just keep making fun of him because of how it's spelled.
From what I understand, it's not the same hate as there is for Tamlin in ACOTAR, but I guess people still kind of get on Chaol. And I understand it from like what we did in the first part of book 1, because he was a little, stick in the mud, like something was up his ass and he was by the rules.
By the rules, yeah.
And we gave him shit for it, but we didn't say he was a bad guy or annoying or anything. We were just like, oh,
that's to be expected of the captain of the Royal Guard.
Yeah, fucker just needs to lighten up a little bit, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Like, dude, go sneak some alcohol and have some goddamn fun.
Yeah.
For once in your damn life.
Take a chill pill, bro.
Yes, but for some reason I keep seeing hate online for him, people during the series, but I do see people sticking up for him, and you know me, I'm going to stick up for him.
Of course you are.
Let's move on to later on that night. Yes. Elena shows back up. More cryptic shit. Here we go. Let's talk about the last thing. Blood ties can't be broken.
Blood ties can't be broken. It's a promise? Blood ties can't be broken.
For me, this goes one of two ways. She's either talking about her blood ties with Dorian, or she's talking about her blood ties with Celaena. I can't see any other blood ties that she would be referring to.
I don't know. I'm very intrigued by that. Blood ties can't be broken. I'm very much looking forward to finding out what that means.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking forward to more Elena crypticness?
Do you know what else I'm looking forward to?
What's that?
Finding out about these demon wars that she mentioned.
Yeah, so you just caught on to that, the whole demon wars thing.
Yeah, she specifically called it demon wars. We fought on the battlefield during the demon wars against Erewhon.
So we tinfoil hatting right now for a little bit.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Hear me out. Demon wars. What Celaena saw in the other world sounds like demonish things, right?
Yes.
So if Erewhon controlled them, now I'm not saying the king is Erewhon, but we don't know the king's name. Spitballing here. So what if he's trying to pull an Erewhon and control the same army? So he's trying to figure out how Erewhon was able to control this army, this demon army.
What if that first creepy person that she saw was Erewhon? What if those eyes, the green skin and the yellow teeth or whatever it was, is Erewhon?
Oh, that's a good one. Because, I feel like foreshadowing, Erewhon's going to come back at some point in the series. I have a feeling.
For sure. And then somebody's going to have the sword, something.
Do we know who is bringing Elena and Celaena together yet? Has that been established? Okay,
I don't think
we still don't know that either.
No, I don't think so.
But my tinfoil hat was his name Brandon? Elena's father,
Brennan?
Brennan, the one that is possibly still alive in the Oakwald Forest.
Yes.
And he was the original king of Terrasan. So that's my theory.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. We have one more chapter.
One more
book.
chapter. And then we have our wrap up episode. Please, please, please tune in for that. We are going to give our overall review as well. And we are super excited to bring that to you. So one more chapter. You ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The final chapter of Throne of Glass, Book 1, Chapter 55.
A signature with strings. So we're back at the greenish glowing fireplace from Act 1. Of course we are. Because nothing screams ominous like a spooky radioactive hearth. 13 men sit at the table. And our girl is the last champion standing. She's here to sign the contract and officially become the king's champion. Naturally, she's mentally spiraling about the next 4 years. Yeah, I'll do what I'm told, she thinks. But after that, total freedom, baby. We'll see how that works out, I guess. Then the king snaps her out of it with,
"Aren't you gonna thank me?"
Oh my God. I mean, what a colossal douche canoe. Of course, she strokes his massive ego because what choice does she really have?
They bring the contract forward, and of course, the king just has to remind her, loudly and passive-aggressively, that signing this means she has exactly zero say in what he commands her to do. As if that wasn't already crystal clear. Then, just to really drive it home, he leans in real close and drops the ultimate threat. If she doesn't come back when summoned, he'll start picking off the people she loves. Chaol, Nehemia, and the list goes on. Real villain 101 shit.
Wow.
This takes a moment, probably counts to 10 in her head so she doesn't launch herself across the table, and then she signs. The king barely acknowledges it before dismissing her like she's yesterday's garbage. He'll call her when he needs her. Cool. Love that for her.
Great. At his beck and call.
Right. She and Chaol leave the chamber, the weight of that signature trailing behind her like a curse.
Oh my goodness. And as they're walking out, she starts to feel lighter with every step. She's probably thinking, oh, well, I sold my soul, but at least I've got a game plan. Chaol asks her if she's happy now, and she affirms that she's as happy as she can be under the circumstances. Then he asks if she wants to know her first mission. And she's like, no, bro, can't that wait till tomorrow? I don't need to know that tonight or today, because apparently today has been enough, and that's rightfully so. She had to go sit there and fingers crossed that she actually got to sign that contract. And that's it. That's where we end. That's the end of the book.
We're done.
Wow. Yeah. And she'll find out what her first mission is tomorrow, I guess.
It's kind of bittersweet.
It is. It feels.
Yeah, first book on this podcast in, 7 weeks on it?
Yeah.
I think roughly.
So. Yeah. Wow.
Well, we want to thank all of our listeners for sticking through this with us. We hope that you really enjoy everything that we're bringing you, and we hope that you stick around for the rest of the series. Crown of Midnight's up next, but before we move on, let's talk about this last chapter a little bit, shall we?
I feel like we talked most of it throughout the chapter, but she signed the document giving her service to the king as the king's champion for 4 years, regardless of what he asks her to do. She knows his threat now.
Yep, and we did finally get a little bit of the threateningness from the king. He said, if you don't come back when I tell you to come back, if you don't do what I tell you to do, you're going to, your friends are dead, basically.
Yeah. I wonder where Dorian plays into that list, because he said Chaol and Nehemia and Nehemia's brother, but Dorian was never mentioned. I wonder if that would be like the ultimate.
I don't want to get too far into what we think is going to come up next on Crown of Midnight and further on, but we can talk a little bit when it comes to Dorian, just as you mentioned. I do think what we're going to find out, I think we're going to skip a little bit forward in Crown of Midnight, and I do think that the king is going to send Dorian to the battlefront. Because he does need to learn that lesson to be a warrior. Dorian has not done that yet, and that is usually part of a princely duty, regardless of who's the king, whether it's a good king or bad king. So I think that's going to happen. So I think Dorian might be away.
Hey, what are you doing? I thought we were doing this in our wrap up and future thing.
No, we are, but I'm just giving a little taste.
Oh, a taste,
just a little
teaser.
Taste, a little teaser.
I'm sorry. I wasn't prepared for this.
I'm sorry. And just like a little teaser. I mean, going back to the king threatening her, saying, you will do what I tell you to do. If you remember, Celaena does have a conscience and she would not kill women, children, or anyone from Terrasan. Do you think?
Oh, for sure.
You think that she will do it, though, Or do you think...
I think he's going to order her to, and I am wondering and curious if she will or will figure out a way to get around it.
I'm wondering that too, because she's very smart, and I'm wondering if she's going to try to hide some of her assassinations or murders, if they are any of those that she refuses to kill.
Especially since she knows all those poisons. Does she know a poison that makes it look like you're dead and they'll declare you dead? I don't know. I've seen it on CSI or something.
Yeah, I am so curious. Again, I don't want to get too far into it for our wrap-up episode, but I really do kind of hope, obviously, I don't want to sound morose, but I don't hope that she kills women and children and people of Terrasan, but I think that'd be a really good look into someone's psyche, like having to do that for your freedom, to earn your freedom, having to do this for 4 years. Like, what would that do to somebody? And I think that'd be an interesting look.
I guess we'll find out.
Right?
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll find out.
All right. So as I said, this is it. We are done with Throne of Glass. We are going to move on. Crown of Midnight starts next week. Monday is our wrap up and our review. Are you ready to move on to He Said, She Said?
I am. Let's do this.
All right, folks. It's time for He Said, She Said, the game where we test each other's knowledge of this week's chapters by guessing who said what.
Or more accurately, it's the game where I win because Scott either overthinks it or totally blanks out.
Excuse me? I'm just giving you the illusion of superiority. It's called strategery.
Is that what we're calling it? Anyway, we've each picked 3 quotes, and the other person has to guess who said them. 30 seconds, no hints, no lifelines, maybe some multiple choice if he begs.
And apparently no mercy either. Let's get to it before Genevieve starts drafting her victory speech.
I'm ready to beat you one last time in He Said, She Said.
Yeah, this is pretty sad. I went an entire book without winning one. But I promise you, I'm going to get you this time. I got a good one for you.
Okay.
So ladies first, hit me.
All right. I'm going to go with the easy one. You can keep that.
You can keep that.
Yep. You can keep that.
Oh. That
no.
is when she dropped the handkerchief on Grave after she whooped his ass. Celaena whooped his ass. 2 minutes. Boom.
Whatever.
Got one.
Woo! Got one.
Hey, all right.
All right.
You ready?
Easy? Yes.
All right. This is going to be pretty obvious.
Okay.
Get up. Is one of my favorite quotes. This is one of the parts in the book that made me teary-eyed.
Oh, wow.
Well, it reminded me of Rocky. That whole scene in Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tender moment. It's like, I believe in you.
Yes.
And I literally just gave it to you. Damn it.
Because you said Rocky?
Well, because I said believing in someone.
Well, a bunch of people believe in Celaena, who I know it's 2.
At this point, do you remember what the quote is?
Get up.
Get up.
See, the thing is part of my bonus is that quote. So.
Oh, okay.
So it's Chaol to Celaena.
Yeah.
It was a very touching moment.
And that's the reason why I used it for my easy one, because it was one of my favorite quotes. I wanted to put that back in there one more time. All right, hit me with your medium.
What's that on your face?
You're joking right now, right?
That's my quote. What's that on your face?
Oh
my gosh, I have the best quotes for you.
No,
this is great.
No. This is the one I thought I was going to trip you up with. I picked this one as well. But this is your medium? I put this for my hard one for you. It's Kane to Celaena.
You put that as your hard?
As my hard one.
Oh.
Well, are you ready for my medium one then?
Yeah.
You're the bravest person I've ever met.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're the bravest person I've ever met.
Bravest person I've ever met.
Oh, there's a lot of bravery going around. Chaol was brave there for a hot second. Celaena's been brave.
Okay.
Nehemia's been brave. What was the quote again?
You're the bravest person I've ever met. So, that sounds like high regards from someone who's been worldly traveled, if you will.
Oh, someone that's been worldly traveled, eh? So, I'm going to say Celaena to Nehemia.
Final answer.
Yes.
You are 2-0. All right. So, we're both 2-0.
Yes.
I kind of got mine on a technicality because I had the same one for my hard one. Good thing we do the extra ones. All right.
Yes. Do you want my hard one?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what she said. We're going to use that joke up so badly. I think we've used it in every single He Said, She Said game so far.
No, I don't think so.
We might have, but it's a oldie and a goodie from, The Office. All right, hit me with your God, I can't say it right. Hit me with your hard one.
Nice.
Now I'm thinking of that salami that we saw on TikTok that just slapped. I don't know if our listeners have seen that on TikTok. This lady takes a giant salami and she slaps it on her kitchen counter. Island. And what does it say?
It's just the screeching
it's
sound.
just the screeching, but it's like a big
and
salami.
And it's all about the words used in book talk.
Yes, absolutely hilarious. All right, go ahead and send me your question, good madam.
Okay. The quote is, "To 4 years until freedom."
I feel like you are trying to trick me on this one because the obvious choice would be Celaena because she is celebrating the fact that she has 4 years of freedom. However, a smart man, and I feel like I'm kind of smart, would think that you're trying to trip me up. So it wouldn't be Celaena, it might be Chaol or Dorian toasting to her 4 years of freedom. However, you are smart, so you might think that I countered that. So then it still might be
So this is like
Celaena.
reverse
Right.
psychology? Is that what's going on here?
This is that whole Princess Bride thing with the poison.
Mhm.
Like, you
Yep.
know, so I would drink the poison. All right. Oh my gosh. You are full of trickery.
Diabolical.
You are. That's why I married you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I am going to go with my gut and I'm going to say it's a toast. I'm going to say Chaol to Celaena. Final answer.
Womp womp.
What? Who was it?
It's Celaena to Chaol.
Damn it. I knew it, woman.
Oh, 50-50, baby.
Oh, so good. Good. Look at you. I am 2 out of 3. You are 2 for 2 right now. You have one more.
Okay.
So I do have my extra one since my hard one and your medium matched.
Okay.
So here we go. You will probably get this one to win the game. This one's pretty obvious. You're starting to sound like an assassin, my friend.
Oh, man.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I didn't read that one again.
You're starting to sound like an assassin, my friend.
That's got to be Celaena to Dorian.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You sure?
No.
Okay.
But it's my final.
Are you positive that's the one you want to go
No,
with?
yes.
Okay.
But
Really?
I'm not positive.
Okay. Because you are correct.
Yay!
You have completely swept me
Woo!
in Throne of Glass. That means that I just have to find redemption in Crown of Midnight, which comes out next Thursday.
Yes.
And don't forget, this Monday is our wrap-up episode. Here are tinfoil hat theories. There will not be a he said, she said game. We are just going to go straight into the review as it's our bonus episode for all of you.
Come listen to these crazy theories. We got some really good ones in there.
It's time for Obsidian and Garnet Assassin's Whisper. Let's hit it. Welcome, Seekers of Secrets, to Assassin's Whisper. I am Obsidian, sharp as a blade, clever as a riddle, and never where you expect me.
And I am Garnet, the shadow you sense but cannot see, and the voice that carries truths only the bold dare to hear.
Together, we are the Keepers of Whispers, guardians of the secrets of Aurelia, entrusted to pass them on to only the most cunning assassins.
This is your covert briefing, a recap of what has transpired in the world of Aurelia. Pay attention, assassin. The truth is a weapon, and we're here to make sure you wield it well.
Listen carefully, for every whisper could mean survival or demise.
Welcome back, my deadly darlings. The whispers have been waiting for you. This week, Celaena stepped into the ring for the final duel, crushed Grave without breaking a sweat, and even outpaced Kane's best time. But victories in Rifthold are never so simple, are they?
No, they are not. Because while Celaena played fair, the king and his little puppets did not. Celaena, thinking she was securing her place at the Duke's side, delivered a poison goblet, and with the clock tower looming, its dark magic dragged Celaena somewhere far worse, an otherworld where an army of the dead waited. Let's just say things got, complicated.
But complicated doesn't mean hopeless, because when all seemed lost, Elena appeared, a glowing specter of long-dead royalty, yanking Celaena back before she became one of those cursed souls forever. And just in time, too, because back in reality, Kane was using her like a training dummy, and no one was stopping him.
No one, until Chaol. The Golden Boy did what no one else dared. With Kane poised to strike a final blow, Chaol ran him through, just like that. And yet, it wasn't over. Nehemia, ever the enigma, had been chanting in her native tongue, word marks flaring. A little protective spell, perhaps? Or maybe something more. Either way, the king's eyes lingered a little too long on Celaena afterward, and that word mark on her forehead, he definitely noticed.
He wasn't the only one playing puppet master either. Celaena, so eager to prove her worth, was nothing more than a pawn. The Duke, the King, those rings of theirs, they fed power into Kane, twisted him into something monstrous. And when all was said and done, Celaena was dragged away in chains. Her usefulness expired. A harsh lesson in playing the wrong game.
And speaking of harsh lessons, Celaena delivered one of her own to Dorian. No more stolen moments, no more lingering looks, because as the king's champion, she belongs to the throne now, or at least that's what she tells herself. And Chaol, he might have saved her life, but the weight of his blade lingers. Killing Cain was necessary, but easy, not even close.
But before we fade into the next chapter of whispers and blood, one last echo lingers in the air. Elena's final words to Celaena. Blood ties can't be broken. A cryptic warning or a promise?
And that, my deadly darlings, is where we leave her, bruised, bound, and now beholden to a king she despises. The game has only just begun, and the cost, well, that's yet to be determined.
Oh, and before you disappear into the shadows, a little puzzle for my clever assassins. Start at the beginning, skip every second step, and you'll find the key. The clue will reveal itself tomorrow.
Keep your daggers sharp and your secrets sharper. The road ahead is treacherous, and the past, it has a way of catching up. Until next time, walk the shadows and trust only the whispers.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Booked for Two.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to help other book lovers find the show.
Follow us on socials at Booked for Two Podcast for behind-the-scenes content, updates, and sneak peeks. We'll also post the chapters for next week's episode every Sunday, so you can read along.
Join us for our live Q&A every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central on YouTube and TikTok. Got questions about the podcast or want to know what Scott's wildest bookmark is? We've got you covered.
Keep an eye on our socials every Friday for cryptic clues from Obsidian and Garnet, the keepers of whispers. Solve the puzzle to win autographed stickers and bookmarks. Speaking of stickers and bookmarks, they are available for purchase on our website, bookedfor2.com.
Get ready for the start of Crown of Midnight next week, so be sure to have your copy plus a bonus episode this Monday for a full book review and wild theories as we solemnly say goodbye to Throne of Glass.
Until next time, keep turning the page.